Well, that just happened. Yeah. So we were not going to be doing Smackdown pay-per-views, something I said rather distinctly. And then Ashley was like, we might as well. This looks like it's going to be a decent card. We got some good stuff that possibly could potentially do really well. Some solid wrestling. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll give it a shot. I don't watch SmackDown on the regular, probably because time frame doesn't really work out very well for me to watch SmackDown because I'm trying to finish Ring of Honor or What Culture or whatever at the time, and I don't really have time. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to watch this pay-per-view tonight. And it happened. There were some really interesting things that came out of it, both good and bad. And I think we're going to talk about it. So that's the best way to start us off. Welcome to another edition of a WWE pay-per-view podcast. This is the podcast that is live tonight for TLC. Thank God, no S this time around.
No, but there's an F, a U, and a K.
Yeah. And a hole, too, apparently. We'll get to that later. We're actually going to be joined by someone else because I just got a message that simply said, invite me, please. So, yeah, we're going to be joined by someone else momentarily.
Someone else.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I guess he gets the first introduction because let's do this properly. My name is Sir Owen. Welcome to our WWE TLC 2016 Popcast. I am joined, as always, by Ashley.
Fucking hell. Why couldn't the Guardians trailer come out today? Because then there'd be something good on the internet that came from today. Instead of...
Yeah, you can watch the replay right now of Final Battle. That's something good on the internet today.
Hang on. I'm going to Facebook to see if that fucking Mrs. Quackenbush fucking match is still available.
Oh, by the way,
I'm going to watch that.
Ashley's made it pretty clear. I probably should mention we're not censored here on the Popcast Network.
Of course we're fucking not. We're going to be talking about assholes, Kevin Dunn being a cunt, and everything under the sun.
Don't forget about the random camera angles of the people in the crowd. Bored on their cell phone.
I was contemplating doing that with a tab. Asked because I'm not Kevin Dunn.
So we're uncut here. We're uncensored.
Cleveland, welcome, number one. Number two, we've always been uncensored here.
Can I say the N-word?
No!
So I guess we're not that uncensored.
We passed that bridge a long time ago. I've gotten too much trouble for that.
For all of Ring of Honor, you can say JT.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. You can definitely say JT.
You can. And no, I don't mean. I mean you can say Jive Turkey.
Which was said on Ring of Honor on Friday.
Can we still say Nashville?
Oh, we're keeping it old school tonight. Sure. And Nashville's fine.
Okay. The N-word is now Nashville once again.
Yes. Them things never change. Cleveland, you asked to be on this show tonight, so I'm sure you have a lot to say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I said please, too, which means a lot. So.
Right. But before we introduce anything, I have to be a little bit more pleasant and also introduce the final member of our panel, and that is Scott, live from the road.
Yes, live from the road. Connecticut, to be exact. I just drove by WWE headquarters. Ah!
Did you throw eggs at it?
No, no, I should have,
Yes, agreed.
but no. Oh well.
So,
But you can say Nigerian. How about that? Yes.
I mean, you got a pass for me if that means anything. So. Oh, by the way, everybody listening who, are like new listeners, I am black. So when I say, can I say the N-word, I do have a pass. I just care about other people repeating me when they hear the podcast.
right.
So if I say that Scott has a pass, don't think, oh, you guys have a pass as well. Only Scott. Sorry, Owen, and sorry, Ashley.
Well, I'm not going to say it anyway,
Ah.
Cleveland. You know that.
I mean, you haven't hired a new black person yet, so I guess.
There's no, I mean,
me and Mr. Entertainment was talking about this the other day. I was like, if he hires a new black person, I'm gonna kill him. I am gonna kill him. You can replace everybody else.
Oh no! It wasn't replaced. We went a different direction, and it's a new era for the network. So we brought in a bunch of people that were really loyal to the Popcast chat, and people that I've become friends with via meeting up in the parks. People that wanted to be able to talk Halloween Horror Nights just like everybody else did last year, and giving them a chance to give their opinions on this forum.
I fully understand that. But just like Donald Trump's cabinet, I'm the only black guy you're going to have on this podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, for the time being, you're not wrong. So let's see where we're going with this. Real quick, before we get started, my question to everyone is, did you guys watch the pre-show?
Barely.
Yes, I watched it.
So we got to see the official debut of Hot 99's Peter Rosenberg.
Yep.
I do gotta say, Marlo was not on his game tonight. He kept on mixing up names and references all night long.
97, not 99. Sorry. Yeah, I understand what you mean on that one.
This fucking Dick Rosenberg. I missed. Was it impossible with talent rather than somebody from ESPN? A channel that's arse, so it's having to cling on to WWE still relevant.
Well, it's not ESPN. I don't think that's the reason why. I think it's the reason that when he was working for Hot 97, I think he still does, he also has done a lot of interviews with all the WWE superstars when they come to New York for press.
So?
I guess right now you would say he's this generation's Rob Bartlett or Todd Pettengill.
Yeah, being from New York, Bronx, New York to be exact.
Right.
I've actually listened to his radio station plenty of times. You can actually also listen to it if you have a Sirius Radio, cheap plug, whatever.
Right.
I actually enjoy him. He's a cool ass dude, and I love his content. It's definitely something new and pretty funky, for no other choice of word to replace that with. But yeah, I think I like the direction. He's cool. He's cool in my book. He has my stamp.
Well, I mean, here's my question. If they're going to bring somebody from the radio business onto the main roster to be like an interviewer or be somebody to work on the pre-show panel, why not Sam Roberts?
Well, I don't.
So that's who that was on the pre-show panel. I was like, who the hell is that?
Yeah, his name is Peter Rosenberg. He also, I guess he works for ESPN.
I know the name.
Yeah,
I know the name. Yeah, he's a big analysis for ESPN too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, I don't watch ESPN, so I wouldn't know that. But
oh, you disappoint us. You disappoint me.
You should know by now.
I mean, WWE has now been accepted by ESPN. I think we should accept ESPN too.
Oh, I did, and back in the day when I used to watch like Global Wrestling Federation and watch old AWA in between times that the strongman competitions were on at like 2:00 in the morning.
Well, that's not true. WWE and ESPN has been slowly integrating, I guess, because they have a plant in ESPN, which by the name of Jonathan Coachman,
Right?
and Todd Grissom. So they have implants in ESPN that has history with WWE. So, and I think that's why we saw a lot of ESPN coverage of WrestleMania last year. And I'm sure they're slowly building up the relationship, and you know, who knows what's going to happen. I mean, it's cool. It gets WWE in front of more eyes and stuff, but is it going to really, you know, help the bottom line as terms of viewers? I don't know. Maybe.
I mean,
doubt it.
I look at it like this: like the relationship between WWE and ESPN is like it's like when you decide to date a fat chick for the first time. You know, like at first you're like, I don't know, maybe she might, you know, break me, but then you're like, she always cooks. She's the best cuddler. She buys me whatever I want. You know what? This relationship is going to work. And that's the same case. Really, ESPN is like, you know what? A lot of people think WWE is fake. A lot of people aren't too happy with the new direction that WWE has taken. But you're going to get so much different viewers. You're going to get like so much new merchandise coming into ESPN. You're going to get different type of superstars. John Cena, one of the top superstars, coming in every now and again doing interviews and shit, making your views go up skyrocket. You gotta venture into that.
Right, and I see where you're coming from there. I mean, the fact remains that WWE and ESPN, it's starting to get to the point that we're probably going to get some sort of I think it happened last year too. I don't really follow the channel enough to really know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure ESPN covered WrestleMania 32 last year.
I just said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Right. So because of that, they're probably going, just like Scott said, they're probably going to cover wrestling from now on.
Not as in depth as we think they're going to. I think it's still a slow roll. I think you might see a little bit more coverage come Royal Rumble, because they're billing this as one of the biggest Royal Rumbles ever,
right?
Which legit could be. And you know, and you might see them at the big 4 pay-per-views, and then a spotty article here and there, and then interviews, whatever, with, you know, Coach or Todd. So it's a process that's slowly building.
Like when Shaq shows up at the Rumble to build to the Shaq Big Show match at Mania.
Oh God.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I'm pretty sure ESPN is going to have a lot to do with Shaq coming into town. So.
Right.
Why is Shaq on my television week?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. He's got that commercial now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's got a lot of commercials. He's always done commercials.
Okay.
Either Buick or Icy Hot.
Yeah, and he can't fit in those damn Buicks.
Hell no. He looks goofy as hell.
Yeah, the way they Photoshop it in the way they car in the general advert is like, under a bridge, please drive under a bridge because you get decap.
It's easy for you to say.
I mean, if you remember from WrestleMania last year, legitimately Shaq is bigger than Big Show.
Oh yeah.
By like at least 6 inches. It is amazing how big freaking Shaq is. I remember reading a story once, just real quick, that his custom house in Miami was built to his specs because of how tall he was. If they built a normal house for him, or his normal mansion for him, it wouldn't have been the size that he needed. His counters are legitimately almost 4.5 feet tall.
That makes sense.
Good Lord. And his wife is like 5'2".
Oh yeah, hoops. I love me some hoops. Ah, for those of you that don't know, Hoops was on this hit reality show back in the early 2000s called Flavor of Love, in which all the little young teenagers who are now adults used to secretly hide into the room and masturbate vigorously to her.
Oh God.
Oh man. Oh.
See,
It's like some guys of like my age and we masturbated to Topanga. Yeah. And now she has a maximum like spread that you can find. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I still masturbated to Panga. Okay.
Amen, dude. Amen.
Good
Wait,
God.
are we talking about
Are we talking
Alan or
like,
Nancy?
I don't know. Sometimes this brings more viewers in. Sometimes it makes people go away. Just kind of depends on the night, I guess.
Okay,
Or-
I mean, okay, the cat's out the bag. Every single one of our viewers, 9 times out of 10, masturbate.
Duh. Or or Stephanie from Fuller House. Yeah, all grown up Steph, not young
And
Steph. That's terrible.
Please tell me that people don't listen to Ashley's accent and not, just get a little hard one just listening to Ashley talk.
I don't have words. I don't have words right now. I'm trying to keep this under control, and I fail miserably every single time.
You better rein it in.
This is the best thing to come out of TLC. The fucking rails, because my God.
Masturbation.
Okay, real quick.
Just
Tim.
watch 2016's version of this. Because
Okay, real quick. Tim is
it
in
was
chat.
not that good.
Tim says Travis is happy right now. Yeah, I'm sure he is, honestly, with the new champion. We'll get that in a minute. Jeremy Mills says, hello, everybody. I just came in to say hello because I have to work at 5 a.m. Welcome, Jeremy. Thank you for popping in for a minute.
And see you later. Go to bed.
I know what Ashley wants to play right now, but you probably didn't have it ready. Unless he does, and he's just stalling in order to be able to set it up.
Stalling what?
See, well, Scott just said go to bed, and the first thing that popped in my mind was Ric Flair saying go to bed.
No. That will happen once we get to the matches.
Oh, yeah.
Every match just needs to go to the bed on loop.
Okay, so let's talk about the pre-show. There actually was a match, an unannounced 10-man tag.
Yeah, it was American Alpha, the Hype Bros, versus the Ascension, the Vaudevillains, and Kurt Hawkins.
2 things to note right off the top. When did Aiden English get like the most ginormous Grizzly Adams beard? And apparently there was a reference about Hawkins coming out. His fact this time around was basically saying, who needs Captain Kirk when you have Captain Kurt? Hawkins, of course, has the cane as always.
Yeah.
I don't think my eyes ever came back out from the unmet.
My quote would have been, why is this not a fucking other than on fucking YouTube polluting? Porn on YouTube has more of a purpose than YouTube.
This match was kind of pointless. It was very much filler. At one point, everybody gets tossed out except for Apollo. And then everybody gets into the ring. They all square off. So we come back for commercial break. We get heat on Chad Gable. And that pretty much goes for a while. There is a pop-up back heel kick, and Jason Jordan makes the save. Gable with a short O'Connor roll on Aiden English. And for some reason, Morrow makes one of the first things that Scott would bring up at the beginning of his podcast and calls him Chad Hawkins.
Yeah, and it's over and over all night.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
That's right.
Look at this
But fun.
photograph. It looks like Kurt Hawkins.
Filmed at Universal Orlando. Anyway, here's the thing.
It's an dilapidated fucking boat.
I wish it was. It'd be
You're
better.
an inanimate fucking object. Oh, wrong. I'll cross promos there. That's good.
Yes. So Jordan gets the hot.
Dilapidated fucking boat.
Jordan gets the hot tag. He takes control. He hits an Olympic slam on Connor, and then we go to finishers galore. Get the hype rider on Victor, and then at one point Apollo Crews suplex onto everybody on the floor. At some point, Simon Gotch became the legal man, and he ate the Grand Amplitude and then the pinfall. So this match was all over
thus
the
not
place.
a single fuck was given.
It was short. Well, no, it wasn't short. It was like 12 minutes. And the crowd didn't care. Oh, yeah, right now, by the way, no disrespect, but, and I wasn't there, obviously, to hear for myself, but based on just watching the program, this crowd sucks. Straight up, off the top, this crowd sucked.
Which is amazing for a Dallas crowd. Dallas is it's usually a pretty hype crowd. Unless they were just terribly mic'd. I did not have the best audio quality in my opinion.
Wanted. Dallas didn't get what they wanted.
No,
It
they
says
didn't.
a lot that during the entire show, the number one trend outside of hashtag WWE TLC was hashtag Undertaker.
Right.
Yeah, they dropped the ball on that.
They were that desperate for him to show up because of all the rumors and everything that I think he overshadowed the thing.
Well, the thing is, Ashley, I think they're going to try to get ratings for SmackDown this week because they're back in Houston for SmackDown. Why don't they have The Undertaker show up on SmackDown?
Why the fuck was there a monitor under the ring?
To throw people off.
They don't know how to throw anything. They can't even throw a match.
Oh, God. Might have made some of this stuff better.
Yeah. I'm looking at you, Baron Corbin.
We'll talk about Corbin in a bit. Like I said, this match all over the place. Typical SmackDown 10-man tag. Not much of a point to it, just basically to get another match in. It wasn't promoted before the show. There's no reason to really do it. It was just something to add another match because we only had 6 matches on this card.
This is why I'm thankful for Raw having the cruiserweights, because at least that's something interesting to watch, even though in that case the crowd doesn't give a shit about it.
Right.
Because they've been told to not give a shit about it.
I mean, this show had 7 matches. And went, what do we got? 2 hours and 45 minutes, or give or take?
Yep. And there was, for a certain point, I was wondering whether it was even going to go 2 hours.
I know we're not trying to compare. I know WWE fans are going to jump my case on this, but it's true. Let's go back to Friday for Final Battle. Ring of Honor promoted 8 matches and went 3 hours. An exact 3 hours because they literally got pulled off the feed when Kyle O'Reilly was talking.
Well, I think that was partially because they weren't supposed to shoot it.
No, of course not. I bring up BC3 at Bound for Glory, just like I did last night. But the thing is, like I said, this match was all over the place. There really wasn't much to it. It was okay. There's really not much you can say about it.
The only thing I would have to say, if it ever comes to a point, is Ryder, a pretty cool series because of their history, and they can bring. Like Marlowe's already brought it up because they were part of They were the Edgeheads.
Of course.
If you can remember that far back.
Well, yeah, because I'm a Zack Ryder fan,
but-
so of course I remember that.
Right.
Don't remind me.
But Ryder had hair.
And before that, they were the Major Brothers on ECW.
Yeah. So, I mean, they have a history, and a pretty long one. And I think it would be cool to. And I think it's cool that Kurt's back. And, you know, maybe him and Ryder can, you know, either team up, like him and Mosey, or whatever the hell his name, Little Balls.
Considering all that Kurt's done on the last year or so on the indie scene, I don't know why the hell he signed to the E.
Right.
Other than he's filling in for Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, he's definitely filling in for
Shelton
Benjamin.
Let's be honest, he's filling in for Shelton.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if it was Shelton versus Apollo Crews, holy shit, that would be interesting.
Yeah, it would.
But Kurt Hawkins, Apollo Crews.
Yeah, it would.
You know, because of the course, then that would play on the fact that I don't think they fought each other in Japan, but both have had pretty successful tours of Japan. You know, the former Uha Nation and Shelton.
They never would have fought because they both were baby faces in Japan.
Well, plus they're in different promotions.
Right.
You know,
I mean,
Shelton was Noah and New Japan, and Uha was they might have faced each other possibly on the UK show of Honor, got the Rev Pro shows, you know, over the last few years and whatever. But to do the whole. So there's the possibility that they have had a match somewhere. But
YouTube said, just typing that into Google, it does not exist as far as Google knows. So it doesn't mean it hasn't happened. It just means that if it has happened, it's not been really promoted very well.
If it's not on Cage Match, it probably never happened.
Right, exactly.
Are you listening, TKO Ryan? It never happened.
That's why he's got a belt right now.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to bring this up real quick. Oh, boy. So, John Cena's hosting Saturday Night Live this Saturday.
Yes!
Yeah, more fucking interest. More fucking
Just
interest.
because it's Saturday Night Live.
Hold up. Scott, did you just say yes?
Just because it's Saturday Night Live, and I want to see them ridicule Cena. Because you know it's going to happen.
You see, I think
John Cena.
Writers know about a history with wrestling. Don't know whether they're going to do a gimmick with like Cena being appointed chief ass kicker.
It's possible.
Or something.
But they've done well in the past, especially with The Rock. And if you want to compare comedic level with The Rock, which that's totally, you know, different sides of the coin. But Cena, I mean, they can put Cena in a pretty funny role and just massacre him.
Should be fun.
I mean, I like it simply because, let's be honest, John Cena's a part-time wrestler now. You know, he's definitely nowhere close to being a full-time wrestler. So whatever keeps him out the ring, I'm all for it.
Wow.
I mean, it's definitely not going to be like when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson hosted it, but you know, he can try.
I guess we know when Cena is going to return. Which, if you think about it, is very interesting timing considering the network that SNL's on and what's going to be airing 96 hours later. Because I'm pretty sure Cena is on to probably something. Most notably Wednesday night's WWE Trip to the Troops. Or Tribute to the Troops, whatever the hell they call it now.
Possible.
Because I don't think he's in any movies. I don't know whether American Grit's starting that soon.
Right.
No, Grit's in the spring.
Exactly. So, people there to plug something. On to plug La La Land.
I wish.
Manuel Miranda was on to plug a shit ton of stuff that wasn't Moana. Probably. I don't know. Cumberbatch was on to plug Doctor Strange. Who was it early on in the year? Lady Gaga was on to plug herself. All that sort of stuff. So
Yeah, I don't think he's on to promote anything.
Thing is going to be
Just promote the WWE, I guess.
It's either the E or, I mean, there's nothing else. Unless he's publicizing himself because he wants like a Golden Globe nomination, although he hasn't been. Has he been in any? Because last year was Trainwreck, so that wouldn't count.
Right.
So, off the top of my head, I don't know.
Well, Tribute to the Troops is airing on USA, so.
Oh, is it not on NBC this time? Are they giving up?
Yeah, pretty much.
They're being a punk ass bitch.
So I'm hearing JBL's voice in the background of the podcast.
Mago! I'm on the wrong show, Mago!
No, he's the member of the broadcast booth that hasn't blocked me.
Wait, let me just clear this up real quick. What the heck is Tom Phillips doing on the SmackDown panel or on the commentary?
I mean, he's better than most of them.
I agree. He's way better than Otunga. Let's put it that way.
I don't like Otunga as a commentator. He sound like Ashley. You brought this up. I'm going to put you on blast here. He sounds bored.
Yes, he does.
Except when a four, in which case it sounds like he's fucking. You not get, like 1, 2, kick out. Oh, it's like fucking hell.
Nah.
Keep it in your pants.
Well, we talked about masturbation earlier, so
Is that why the hole occurred? Was it too early? I don't know. Because everybody knows about AJ and the gay community. Am I right?
Oh God.
Yes.
I'm not going into that. Not in here. So let's get to the main show. So here's the thing about this, Ashley, that I want to bring up when they're talking about Cena on SNL. Renee Young, God bless her, brings up former host of Saturday Night Live and name drops 3 people: Will Ferrell, Alec Baldwin, and Jimmy Fallon. Okay.
They weren't just hosts. They freaking made Saturday Night Live, at least in the early 2000s until now. I mean, let's put it that way.
Why didn't they?
They have hosted.
Why didn't they bring up the? Why didn't the obvious one? You know, the guy that's been to WrestleMania.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Why didn't they mention?
Hell, they could have mentioned Foley or the Big Show.
Didn't Triple H host one time?
He didn't Triple H. Well, hold on. He didn't host. He was on the show. I do remember that.
Okay.
As far as wrestlers are concerned, I think The Rock. I think The Rock's the only one that has actually hosted.
There's just been appearances from other people.
Hosted.
But yeah, they could have said, Christian Witt, Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus. You know, not saying that I watch SNL faithfully, but I know these things.
Well, I mean, it's a very interesting 3 people to pick.
Heck, even Timberlake.
Yeah.
Oh, Justin Timberlake is an icon. He is a god.
Yeah, he's a god of Jimmy. I swear, I think Jimmy worships him.
Unlike Kanye West.
So,
Bastard.
if you're just joining us here, we're talking about
It was
SNL during
exhaustion.
the TLC podcast.
I'm sorry, guys. I just had to say his name because that stupid cunt. You know I hate saying that C word. That's more so Ashley's boat. But
Yeah, pretty
when
much.
I bought tickets to see him live for my friend's Christmas present who loves him. And this son of a bitch cancels immediately when I buy the tickets. Like right after I buy the tickets, I see on Google News, Kanye West cancels show at Amway Arena. I'm like, son of a bitch. I'll tell you this, he lost my vote in 2020.
Oh, God.
But then what was it? Just earlier this week, he said
Cleveland?
that he canceled it because of exhaustion.
I'm gonna let you finish, but let's be honest. The best rap act.
Wow, this guy.
I just love when people cut out and you can barely hear what they're saying.
I thought that was just me. I thought like maybe my phone was tripping.
I think Kanye actually interrupted our call.
Well, I mean,
Get out of here.
Well, I mean, we don't have the answers, so.
Right.
Yeah, but if
So
we had the answers, we change.
we would change the questions.
Yeah, like, where's my fucking gold, Jeff?
See,
Tell me
that's
after
always.
Christmas.
It doesn't matter what show it is. When Ashley yells to Jeff Jarrett about where's his gold, it always comes through. That part never like skips, and he never like cuts out. It always comes through.
Unlike my father.
Oh, by the way, Kevin, where's my fucking camera angle? Where's my fucking camera angle?
Yeah, I don't know what the camera. I guess I just maybe not have been noticing it because I'm trying to rapidly write down notes for matches. But have they been doing this gimmick for the while now with them panning to the crowd after big moves?
Not as
Probably since.
well. Sorry, go.
Really?
I saw a weird child tonight that really just made me feel uncomfortable in the crowd.
There looked to be some guy vendetta with a face that just looked like a multi-murder with a sign that said Ziggler is trash.
I love
was
it.
just like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, man.
There was this big spot that happened in a match. I don't recall where it was, but when it happens, Kevin Dunn pans over. Well, he sends somebody from the track to pan over to a fan in the crowd. The fan is busy on his phone, just looking at it. And then later on in the show, they actually caught this guy taking pictures and possibly videotaping what was going on.
There was one shot in the women's tables match where the guy was filming it, and they put that in the reaction shot.
That guy got kicked out.
In the main event, there was some guy that was that enthralled by the TLC match that he was looking at his phone wanting to know where Undertaker was.
He's trying to find the results for the Ring of Honor Final Battle Aftermath.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, here's my thought on this camera angle. This camera angle's always been around. They did it back in Nexus.
Right.
And they stopped. And then NXT, they started doing it again in NXT, and maybe Vince in his crazy mind thought it was a great angle, and to change up the feeling of SmackDown, they started doing this weird freaking the pan camera or whatever, the fucking crane camera, whatever you want to call it.
It works with NXT because they're in Full Sail, because you're in a smaller venue. If you try and single out somebody in like a 12,000 seater arena, it's like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they didn't go
saying about that. I'm just saying that
they didn't go to the reason why Undertaker vs WrestleMania 30 was so iconic is because of the reaction shots. The match had taken place, not during the bloody thing.
I agree with that, but I wasn't even talking about the reaction shots. The reaction shots, all of them came from after the replays were shown. None of them were shown. No true reaction shots were shown during the actual, like.
They were.
It was only at
not
the
as
replays.
Many as before, but even with the replays, it's like I want to see what action I missed, not the fan going, "Oh," or like, you know.
Well, they do show the action that you missed. And then just the quick reaction afterward, which is just it's a weird format.
We don't need.
No, we don't.
We don't need the fans.
And if you're gonna do that,
to fucking react. Somebody went through the table. You are gonna go, oh shit! I've got a scratch on my arse. I need to go for a. Probably gonna have the same reaction as the fan going, damn! You know, it's.
If they're gonna do these fan reactions, at least make it a color on the audience that you can see the people too.
I think one of the
red's not a good color.
Reacting like wow, and that was on his phone like, okay, one thing. She's like, oh wow, what a great angle you chose there, Kevin.
Listen, if they're gonna do reaction angles, do something that would make me say that's cool. You know, like, here we go. Freaking, when Nikki Bella comes out and pops her shirt open, at that immediate moment, put the reaction on the first black group that you see. That's going to be a funny reaction. Because all you're going to see is, damn.
I caught a clip today on YouTube. Somebody had edited it down. Moment where Finn got involved in the ICW Team Dallas versus Team Red Lightning match from a few weeks back. I saw that. There is one guy on the front row throughout this entire thing as Galloway and Balor are staring down, just with his mouth fucking open, not doing anything. He's just like, oh, what's going on? That's how you do it. It's Lotus, not like I'm gonna put up face and you're gonna react, all right? So there was like, why didn't you fucking react? And it's like, because it didn't feel like a moment that I wanted to react to. Just because you do a grand spot doesn't mean everyone's gonna react to it.
Right.
Oh, let's have Baron Corbin do End of Days on the outside of the ring. Nobody reacted to it because they're not invested in the match. Oh, let's do a spot where we get a near coup de grace for a table by Becky on Alexa. Let's go to a camera shot. Somebody's filming the match instead, and trying to get on TV. That's the other issue. When they do it live, half the other time, because they're watching on the screen, whether it be the Tron screen, because that acts as a television, screens where the bloody hockey games go. As soon as they see them, like with any sporting event, they go, like, oh, I'm invested in this match, let's keep watching. It's always, I'm on the fucking big screen! Hello! I don't look like a total dickhead! Hello! There is no need for that in wrestling. Even TNA realizes that. Mainly because half the product when TNA does it, you just see the fan H-ing themselves. And whatever. You know, you don't see it in PWG because, you know, let's just say the wrestling is more important than the reaction of the fans. You know, it works when you're in a super big building for like a WrestleMania. You know, it'll work for the Royal Rumble. You know, when you have reactions of people getting eliminated, that's going to work. When you do it for, oh, wow, he just did a phenomenal forearm off the thing, which is something you see every fucking week, and the person's going, you know, you have to find one person that's clearly never seen it before and try and single them out in the crowd. You know, I think there must be about 70 cameramen actually at ringside. It's just, you know, half of them are like, I'm trying to think of the PC word for midgets. But they you know, what it is that you don't see them on shot, and they just like, yeah, row 4, section H, yeah, just by the fire exit, and then there's like cameraman go there, and then it's just some person like picking their nose, and it's like, you got the wrong fucking person. It's just, oh, it's a bugbear of Kevin that's really starting to piss me off. You know, apparently the ring isn't good enough. What isn't in the action in the ring fucking better? Don't try and cover it up by, oh, let's go to the ring, you know, let's go to the crowd for a reaction. If the match isn't going to have people invested watching in the arena, how the fuck is it going to keep people invested if they're watching on television or online via the network, whatever, or on their mobile? Mini rant over.
I miss when Ashley used to do the video game.
Trust me, it might be happening. It might be coming around tonight. Oh, that fucking reminds me. JBL, you bastard. On the pre-show, you said, wow, Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton won the tag team title. They won the match against the winners of a tag team turmoil match, American Alpha. They didn't actually win the match themselves. Just saying. Also, why the fuck are you bringing Suarez? You know how many people show on the network will get that reference? 16. That's it. Why drop a reference that, you know, nobody will get? You know, with our shows, I mean, let's take Ring of Honor. Very few people will get the reference that I dropped at the end of the Popcast on Friday/Saturday.
Right.
But as a percentage, let's say it's 10 people out of what, like close to 400 far?
Yeah.
That's 1 in 40 will get it. For this, it's going to be about 1 in 15,000, let's say.
Okay.
If that, because I don't know how many people actually watch the network live, because they don't do any bloody stats on that shit. You know, it's like the network is proving, if anything, this is, if you did get Survivor Series for free because of the free month, you should have cancelled already. Because TLC really didn't deliver. Roadblock, hashtag end of a line, hashtag why the fuck has this pay-per-view got a subtitle, hashtag we're not stupid, we can't remember in February because it was in fucking February. February because it was that memorable and because it wasn't. That's a long hashtag. It's more than 140 characters. Fuck it. You know, when TNA did that, they didn't even call it Final. What was it? Final Destination? No, Final Resolution.
Final Destination.
It was either that or they had two in the same year. They didn't rename the thing to get you make sure you weren't confused. They were just specified this one's called Genesis. Yes, there was one called Genesis before. Deal with it.
Right.
So why it needs to be Roadblock End of the Line. Especially as well if some fucking feud starts. How is it End of the Line? You know, how is it going to be End of the Line when Kevin Owens retains? You know, the only way in that it's End of the Line is it's probably going to be when New Day drop the tag belts.
Maybe.
That's the only reason I can think it's called End of the Line. Because remember, there's no breaks or off seasons in wrestling. So why call something End of the Line when it's not over?
Because the
That's
Royal
why the
Rumble
tagline
starts
for
a few weeks later.
Tagline for Armageddon, the end is here. Because it wasn't. Because half the shit they specified the end is here. It kept going. So, I mean, if you haven't signed up to the fucking wait till we get to NXT TakeOver and the Royal Rumble. Save your money. I'm pretty sure you can find it on the shit you want, like NXT or whatever, somewhere on the internet. Probably. This because I don't want to talk about the pay-per-view.
Of course, as always.
Which is annoying. Well,
you're the reason we watched this stupid thing in the first place. Don't forget that.
Yeah, well, the first match, it's like mixed feelings for me because it's like I'm happy with what went down, but how this show underran, if you're going by the estimates, by about 45 minutes. Why couldn't the tag match be given more than, let's say, 9 minutes? Was this like punishment for Renee saying 9 minutes back at Survivor Series?
Interesting way to look at it.
I'm gonna have a quick look. I'm gonna have a quick look to see if we've got running times.
Well, while you do that, let me bring up one more piece of information before we started. Well, first off, apparently somewhere in October, the Console Energy Center became the PPG Paints Arena.
What?
Yeah. The Console Energy Center in Pittsburgh, where Roadblock Walking Dead Into the Line is taking place, was renamed in October the PPG Paints Arena. Not as bad as Camping World, but it's pretty close.
I fucking go.
I agree with it's if the Pittsburgh Paints is huge, obviously in Pittsburgh.
Obviously, yeah.
You got two huge companies in Pittsburgh that pretty much rules Pittsburgh, and that's Heinz and Pittsburgh Paints. Correct. Heinz already has Heinz Field, so why would they get an arena? Is there anything else that would really get an arena? I don't know. Or that would put their name on it? Yeah, Pittsburgh Paints. The PPG Arena. Now, if they should just take the paints off because it just adds one too many words.
Yeah.
PPG Arena and call it good. And put their little funny blue and white sign up.
It's up there. I can see I can see it
I'm
right
sure it
now.
is.
What's the big arena in Seattle or Washington?
Dome? Oh no, that's the wrong place.
I was just
With
call
the
it.
oh, shit.
They should just call it the They should just call it like the Ann Summers or Victoria's Secret Arena, just because the city's got a giant pointed dildo sticking up out of it. We need more alternative brands in the arena sponsoring deals.
So basically,
not just American.
But they're so expensive.
So it's NASCAR.
I mean, NASCAR's got the new name now.
I want some fucking Viagra company to sponsor an arena.
Did you catch the wordplay on what he just said? Fucking Viagra? No? Okay.
God.
Here's the tampon 400.
14,000 people packed Viagra Arena. Gonna be a stiff test for AJ Styles tonight.
Man, he really gave him the shaft that time.
Oh, God. Stop dicking around.
No, don't spill your cream all over.
This match has really reached its climax.
Yeah, I've just checked. I've just checked. According to Monsieur Jason Powell, the title match went 53 seconds.
I'd buy that.
The pre-show match went 12 fucking minutes. The pre-show match went double the time of a tag title match.
And we still haven't talked about the tag match yet.
Yes.
Can we just get this match done before we go anywhere?
Yeah,
I wish
it was the best match of the night.
Yeah, I wish the match was definitely longer. At first, I didn't really think that Beauty and the Man Beast would hold up a good match against the new Wyatt family, but it was pretty fly, and once again, it was pretty short.
I don't know. I don't know why. I understand the storyline for Rhino and Heath Slater where they won the titles, but it was time to take it off of them. And they really haven't, for as many tag teams as there are on SmackDown, almost none of them have been built up right. So enter a team that is not actually a tag, it's one of those super teams that are made up of two singles guys. But I'm fine with that. Because this tag team is awesome. Bray Wyatt has been a gimmick for 4 years now. Over 4 years now. Because April 2012 is when the gimmick debuted. In FCW, before NXT. And Bray Wyatt made his debut in 2013 on the main roster. It took him 3 years to win his first championship, and it's a tag title. I'm okay with this because this is what the tag team division needs.
Yeah, but if you think about it, in 4 straight years of WrestleMania,
how much Bray Wyatt got screwed over?
He's faced Cena,
yep.
Undertaker,
right?
Rock and Cena sort of and probably this year Orton, because I'm guessing that's where the feud's going to culminate.
Probably.
and he still isn't going to be relevant. Because unless there's an actual fucking there, what's the point in him wrestling? The best moments we've seen from Bray have been those glimpses of when he's actually going for a singles, whether it be US or IC or WWE World Heavyweight title as it was. Every other time, it's seriously been a case of nobody gives a shit. Because WWE can't let go of the grasp that he can do it on his own. He doesn't need people. In turn, that's why nothing's happened with Luke Harper. Because the family gimmick has to be successful. But look, every time it does, either Bray gets injured, or Luke gets injured, or Eric gets injured, or a combination of all three injured. So why they haven't pulled the trigger yet, to one, make him relevant, and two, end this cursed gimmick.
I don't think it's cursed, first of all. Second of all, I think there's an ultimate end game. Bray said it multiple times in interviews and stuff that his gimmick is, it's thought out. It's thought out for the long term. Sure, he's got the family around him. Sure, he's had injuries. So has Luke. So has Eric. But he's over still, even without the gimmick. When it was broken up because of injuries, when Eric and Luke were out, he was still over. Anytime you go to an arena and you see him come out and all the fireflies and quotes, come out, it's so cool. So to say that he's not over and then his gimmick's dead, that's not true. As far as title reigns goes, I don't think he really wants a title.
No, of course.
Of course he does, but I don't think it's not in his cards at the moment. He doesn't want it to be because he's still building this family, so to speak. So, and I think, and me and my buddy Brian have talked about this plenty of times about what they could do with Bray. They totally misused him. We could totally say that. They have not done what they could have done with him. If you wanted a successor of The Undertaker, you could have done it with Bray.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But they failed on that point. And I don't think they're going to get a chance to, if our assumptions are correct of what happens to Taker. But to say the least, I think he's happy at this point. And it is cool that he finally won his first title. And it was even cooler to watch Randy and Bray give it to Luke and put it on his shoulders.
Right.
That was like, as far as the match is concerned, which I missed half of it because my phone was being stupid, the ending really, that was the coolest part of that match, was the ending. Or right before, Bray and, does that, when they were all standing there. So, or when Bray was kneeling. They really need to bring Sister Abigail out. When? I don't know. And if this is his plan to make us want Sister Abigail, then the roof is going to explode when she fucking debuts.
She already has. She's just not Sister Abigail yet.
I know.
I'm still sticking to it, and I think there's even more credence to it now.
Who are we talking about?
Crazy Mary needs to be Sister Abigail. I've been saying it for years.
Are we talking about the girl on NXT?
She's now on NXT, yes. She actually works. I think she's working this week on NXT, or either this week or next week. I know she's on. She did the taping match. She worked at the WrestleMania ticket release party at Dr. Phillips.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did watch that video. Well,
The
Kyle
crazy
put that
girl-
video up.
The
Sorry.
crazy girl who's like 4 feet tall.
It's my girl right there.
Okay.
She's gonna shock the world. Trust me. Just like Alexa tonight. We'll talk about that later.
Do you guys think that
Should
the whole Randy Orton thing
be
and
the
Bray
new one,
Wyatt
in my
stuff is
opinion.
legit?
What about Randy Orton?
Do you think the Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt alliance is legit? Like there's no Randy screwing him over at the last second type of thing.
That's probably That's probably the end game. Yeah, but I think it's gonna go a while.
At least till WrestleMania or the build up of WrestleMania. There might be some shenanigans in the Royal Rumble if they don't defend, and which would probably start to spin tail the split. Because is Rowan back yet?
I think he might
course
still
not.
be hurt.
Okay.
Yeah,
For the
'cause
next few
I've
months. He
seen-
might be back in around.
Well, you've got to do the.
And
you gotta
again,
do-
he only got hurt about a month or so back. So I think
Yeah.
it was like a 6 to 9 month thing. So it might not even be in time for Mania.
You got to do the rematch with Slater and Rhino too, which they could do that at the Rumble
Well, you can do that on SmackDown too.
on the SmackDown pay-per-view that's after the Rumble.
Yeah.
That makes
No,
sense.
they'll have it before then. I honestly probably pull the trigger on Alpha. In the
Well, the
build-up
Alpha match needs to be the Rumble.
to Mania. Or put it on the USO.
Please no.
They'll do so.
Oh,
I they'll do.
The new Usos are great.
I mean, I still don't care. I just do not care about them as a team.
I think what's going to happen is you're going to see Rhino and Heath get the rematch before the Rumble on SmackDown because they seem Heath is going to be ambitious enough and tell Rhino, we need to do this like now. And then they're going to lose. They're going to go into the Royal Rumble. There's going to be some confliction between Bray and Randy, and then that next pay-per-view, the SmackDown pay-per-view, which I don't know which one it's going to be yet. But the Elimination Chamber is coming back February 22nd, so I don't think it's going to be a SmackDown pay-per-view, to be honest. Yeah, I think they drop it to American Alpha, and then the split happens, and then they build up, and then WrestleMania between Bray and Randy, and then this time Bray will actually go over. Randy will put Bray over.
Well, it makes sense. But I mean, again, we're getting ahead of ourselves here because we haven't even talked about the match yet.
Well, we don't really need to.
So,
Well,
yeah, this match was short, like super short.
well, as I said, just under 6 minutes.
Yeah. Not much you can say about this match. I did like the save here because Orton saved Bray when Rhino went for the gore, so Orton eats it, and then when we go on the outside,
Luke Harper
Harper
eats
does the same thing. Exactly.
Okay, so it happened twice. I didn't
Right.
see the first one.
Well, here's the thing about that. We lead to the finish where Bray gets ready to do the crab walk, and it's there just as a temporary distraction for Randy Orton to come in, hit the RKO, and win the titles. I mean, I'd like to have seen more time given to the match, but it did what it had to do, I guess. Not much more you can say about that match.
It's almost showing that Bray and Randy are a force to be reckoned with. Like that,
Right.
they could beat Rhino and Heath, which Heath has been a jobber for God knows how long. I just watched what was it, WrestleMania from Miami when Heath had long hair, trying to get up to Flow Rider and all that crap. So yeah, I mean, but he's silver, just like Bray and Randy.
Still have no idea if SmackDown is getting the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view or not. I've heard both ways, and I'm seeing both ways as I'm looking around here. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what Elimination Chamber is. But I will state that Elimination Chamber feels more like a Raw pay-per-view because they have more guys on the roster.
Exactly, that's my thought.
I honestly think it depends who wins the Rumble and goes to which brand. Because I think they'll do the whole number one contender decided by a chamber match.
It's possible. We'll see. I mean, we got to get past this stuff first before we go anywhere.
We don't even know what the next pay-per-view is after the Rumble because I don't think they've officially announced yet, have they?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, it's Elimination Chamber, but I mean, it's not announced if it's Raw or SmackDown officially yet.
Plus, if you're in Germany, it's not called Elimination Chamber.
No, it is not.
That'll be interesting when they go over to the foreign announced teams and the Germans are talking about No Way Out, and everyone's like, it's not called that.
Oh, but it is here.
Oh, okay. So at first I didn't really understand what you were saying, but in Germany they can't call it Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Kind of bring back memories of World War II. It probably sounds something along the lines of
So what are they gonna call it? Auschwitz?
No Way Out.
That Holocaust, man. That Holocaust.
Oh my God! I thought what I said was wrong. Every time that I think I get a little fucked up, Ashley just takes the gold.
You should know that by now. Come on.
Yeah, but it's true. That's the reason. The word in Germany is too synonymous for them to use it.
The only way one could get more fucked up in this is by them just calling it home.
Horrible.
Okay, on to the next match.
A horrible movie. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. So yeah, let's get to our next match, shall we? More filler, but a no disqualification filler between Nikki Bella and Carmella.
This match.
Oh, this is bad.
It's no DQ, so what do we use? A Singapore cane kendo stick, whatever you want to call it, delete as applicable. And filler for fire extinguisher. So much so that I think Carmella may have third-degree burns on her back and her ass. Because Nikki sprayed her for that long.
Yeah.
Because we know about this because of what happened to Triple H back at, was it Mania 30?
Yes.
When the dry ice basically got on his back from the entrance.
Yes.
Which is basically what the fire extinguisher is. Because it wasn't, I don't think, a real fire extinguisher. Otherwise, for the amount of spray that happened there, Carmella would actually probably be dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then the whole, the shocking revelation. Adam Paci's tweet like, we never would have guessed this. We would not have known that had you not have said, oh my God, it was her all along.
Yeah.
Except I don't think it is. But we'll get to Theorycraft in a minute. We'll talk about, well, I don't know whether we should talk about the match because It really, you know. Pete Rosenberg, I'm bringing you up again, you twat. You said, oh, the women's division looks so strong. This match made it look like it should go back to being fucking divas.
Yeah.
It's one match. You know, Nikki's too experienced. Carmella's too green. It didn't work.
Yeah, there's not much to this match. For some reason, Carmella decided she wanted to basically make one of her only moves be suplexing Nikki into the ropes. And she does it twice. When you have somebody as green as Carmella doing something like that, that is a recipe for disaster. The Singapore Cane shows up. Code of Silence is locked on. Of course, she breaks it with cane shots. You could see it coming from a mile away. Nikki hits a disaster kick off the barricade. And then we get the fire extinguisher, and that's pretty much the end of that. The Nikki KO finishes it, and that's the end of it. I don't know why they call it Rack Attack 2.0. No, it's a Nikki KO because that's what it is. Yeah, this match was short, thankfully. Not very good. These two don't really have good chemistry. I've noticed this. It's a shame because they really need. SmackDown has the lesser women's division because it's the one that's not booked as well. I mean, you can see Sasha and Charlotte a billion times. I mean, at least they're still going to be relevant. But this match, the crowd didn't care. There was like almost no heat to the match whatsoever. The fire extinguisher spot just felt kind of tacked on. It was just a base. Why did no DQ matches turn into basic hardcore matches? Number one, and number two, I love one of my favorite things in the match, and I'll give kudos to JBL for calling this out too. There's no DQ, but there's countouts. Yeah, this match, yeah, just not good. Not good at all. I put it
my mind just melted. I was like,
yeah. Scott, my notes say cane shots equal crowd shots.
Yeah.
It's just a waste. I mean,
back on the camera again.
Yeah, and I mean, Carmella never should have been brought up to the main roster yet, honestly. I think she would have, I mean, two things. Either A, send her back to NXT, get some more seasoning, because she's not ready yet. It's fine. I mean, that's understandable. I mean, I'm happy she got brought up to the main roster, but there really wasn't anything to do with her. And this storyline with Nikki has been okay, but I mean, she can't carry her wrestling side of things. And you don't want to put her back with Enzo and Cass because there's really no reason to do that at this point either. But at this point, it may not be a bad idea. Nikki is fine. She's having to carry somebody, which is interesting given the fact that a couple years ago that was never going to happen. This match would have been a whole lot worse. But I mean, for them trying to push the legitimacy of the SmackDown women's division, this match did nothing to help that cause. Which is a shame because it could have been something and it just wasn't. Not a good night for the SmackDown women's division. Welcome Corey Steele to chat. So yeah, let's move on, Ashley. Unless you have more things to say about this match before we move forward. I'll take your silence as a no. Cleveland, Scott, do you both have anything to say about this match otherwise?
nope.
All right. Good times.
It was all right, and it wasn't all right. I hated it. It was awful. I take back what I said earlier. It wasn't all right. I don't want it anymore.
Okay. All right. So we move on to our next match. We get our ladder match. The L and TLC is finally coming to fruition, and that is the final battle, pun not intended, between Dolph Ziggler and The Miz with the Intercontinental title on the line. Yeah, this match was okay, but I think in some places it felt kind of blah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really bad thing to say, given the fact I'm a fan of both guys' work, especially Miz right now. But this match just felt off.
Well, it also didn't help. They had to fill in time, obviously, and then also that they stretched it. They went slow. They plotted it. It told a good story, but yeah, it took forever to get to the final, like last 10 pages of the final chapter.
Yeah, it took me a while before I ever went to something. So Dolph is caught, and he's about ready to be power bombed on the ladder outside the ring. Miz turns it around, and trying to drop Dolph on the ladder. Of course, Dolph reverses and hits the exclamation point DDT on the ladder. That's the first time I wrote anything. Dolph hits an elbow drop off the ladder. I thought that worked really well. Basically, working the leg in this match is one thing that really the methodical offense of The Miz kind of worked out pretty well. Actually, locking him in the figure four with the leg trapped in the ladder. Go ahead, Ashley.
We need to discuss more.
We need to discuss what?
Hang on. Music. Fucking advert.
Of course.
Fucking Dasher! One for the bitches on. Yeah, it's called Renee Young because she's got a red nose.
I don't have words. Let's continue.
Cute. Dasher. Yeah. Yeah. All of I don't know how to do a fucking interview. Only everybody asking, about his hard times. And then Renee, we then see a contrast of Renee with AJ, and it's like, man, she can do interviews. She just did it simple, but made it sound natural, not like it was read from a robot. And Dasher did it here as well, with Daniel saying, like, who do you want to win? And Daniel was like, oh, man, it's obvious. Yeah. I want Ziggler to win. And Miz shows up. He goes, we all want facing me. Me facing Ziggler. Yeah. You're just riding on his coattails. You want Ziggler to win because it's going to feel like you won. Don't worry. I won't let you down. And, that leads into a pretty... I have to say it's a damn good match, even though it probably isn't as good as it should have been.
Right.
The fact that it was just, especially when we got to the bit at the end with the promo, it felt too... The only reason this match happened was because they want Daniel Bryan to have one more match. And it shouldn't have been that. this is the end of the feud. And it sort of didn't feel that way because it was just like the feud never happened, because the only feud that people should pay is the one that may or may not happen. No, I'd say it's more likely may right now than may not, but you know, I'm not going to say a definitive yes. Did I stun everybody to silence?
Anyway. So let's continue the match, shall we? So Miz goes for the skull crushing finale. Dolph barely grazes the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And there really wasn't much to this match, honestly. Dolph, and this is something I thought was really interesting. So they're fighting on the ladder, and Miz does the Hardy spot where he gets basically caught holding the title. So he's hanging by the belt. Dolph nails him with the ladder. Miz falls off the ladder, lands awkwardly on his knee, and, well, he curses really loudly.
Motherfucker!
Exactly. So they go up the ladder. Miz cuts him off. He hits a slingshot powerbomb on the ladder set up in the corner. Mauro yells, "Oh my God."
Yeah, but oh my God, look at her butt. Oh my God, look at her.
The Sing trailer's gotten you too, Ashley. My apologies to everyone for Ashley's internet connection, because it seems like it keeps cutting him off every once in a while.
Probably.
Okay, just as long as we all know. We'll be on the same page in about a month, so don't worry.
That ass.
Oh, no, we'll get to that in the main event. Not in that way, though. Miz puts the ladder side by side. Dolph climbs up the ladder. Dolph, they have a slugfest. Dolph with about 3 headbutts. Knocks him off. Dolph climbs up. Miz kicks him in the wing wang twice. Swats him off. Miz grabs the title. The storyline...
Often in the zigzag.
See, the storyline here, to be totally honest, is the fact that my thing is, where does Dolph go from here? Like, are we going to have one sort, like a swan song for Dolph on SmackDown this week? It's like, I couldn't get the job done. I'm not going to make any excuses. Maybe it's time for me to ride off into the sunset, something like that. And then that would set up somebody coming out to distract him, interrupt him, and introduce his next feud. Or do we trade Dolph to Raw and let Dolph work with a bunch of new guys?
And he rides off into the sunset with Kenny going.
Fair point.
Too soon?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. Miz retaining makes sense. Him mocking Bryan with the yes taunt, plus the running drop kick in the corner with the ladder that was sandwiched between Dolph and the turnbuckle. I really think, more than ever now, that we are getting the match at WrestleMania between Daniel Bryan and The Miz. Whether it is just a regular match with no title implications, or what, because easily we could have Bryan cost The Miz the Intercontinental title at the Royal Rumble. And that's what I would do. And that would lead to them them doing stuff on television to be able to set up this match. And then at WrestleMania, Bryan comes out of his forced retirement and beats Miz once and for all to shut him up. That makes sense to me, at least. But you got to move Dolph onto a new feud after this because there's really no other direction to go. And I think this time I've silenced everyone.
Okay, well, who's next?
Oh, I know what's next, and I don't want to talk about it. Do we have any thoughts about Miz and Ziggler before we move forward?
I love the match, to be honest with you. The past couple matches that I've seen Miz have for the past couple months, he hasn't failed me once. So.
Right. I mean, like I said, it was an interesting blow off to the feud. Wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. I don't think it was what anybody thought it was going to be. And it was a very old school mentality to the match. Work a body part the entire match. And usually it involves something to set up the finish, and then we go a completely different direction for the finish. But I mean, in this case, that's exactly how it happened. It was very paint by numbers. I mean, as safe as a ladder match could be, I think, except for Miz getting knocked off the ladder and cursing on live pay-per-view, I think that everything went to plan in this match. And the question is, Miz was, if you noticed, Miz was kind of trying to get feeling back in his leg, and he basically worked the rest of the match on one leg. So that was either another brilliant sell job by The Miz, or he literally messed his knee up, and that's the reason why the match went the way it did. Which is very possible, to be honest. I guess we'll just have to wait and see where this goes from here, because obviously the Miz Dolph storyline is over, so we got to see where the next direction to go is after this. I mean, they gave this almost a half hour too, so it had a solid amount of time.
And what's next for Dolph Ziggler?
It's anyone's guess at this point. I mean, I think either you send him to Raw, which would make sense, or instead of sending him to Raw, we actually change things up and have him do, like, I'm done. Like I mentioned a minute ago, it's like, I'm done. And then a heel cuts him off, and basically that's his next feud. But I honestly have no idea who the feud's going to be with on the main roster, on SmackDown.
Is this where we bring up Peter?
Go ahead.
Was the chairs match?
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
And
this is the chairs match.
I remember him saying this in his picks when they asked who's going to Corbin or Kalisto. And Peter said, I can't say I or something like, if Kalisto has a chance, Corbin will win. That isn't fucking. I don't think it's Mandarin either. So who knows? Who the hell knows? Anyway, it's harsh to say this match happened, because to be honest, for a chairs match, it was probably the best chairs match ever.
It's not many matches you really can put that with, though.
True. There haven't been that many chairs matches. I think there's only been like 5 or 6, one each. But they actually did a pretty reasonable job. It's just, it's Baron Corbin. It's Baron bloody Corbin, Billy Corgan. It's brilliant. I can now call him Billy Corbin. And Corbin. Because there's only one of them left in the wrestling.
For now.
Well, yeah. And of course, that leads us to Baron Corbin's entrance music.
Terrible.
Who gives a fuck about? No one gives a Corbin. Fuck about. So let's go have a piss.
Yeah, this I can assure you. If you heard that, it was amazing. If you didn't, it's definitely worth hearing. This is. I gotta see what the length of this match. Did you see what the actual length of the match was? Oh, there we go. This match went 13 minutes, and I wish it didn't. I mean, this isn't the worst chairs match I've seen. I mean, I'm looking at the chairs matches we've had for all the TLC shows that started in 2009. There wasn't one in 2013, apparently, but from 2009 all the way to this year, there's been one every year except for 2013. And I mean, oh yeah, because the match is being brought to you in part by Supercard, their Supercard stats are listed underneath their name.
Oh God. For fuck's sake. Was this even necessary?
I guess.
Seriously. Why?
All right.
WWE sponsored their own fucking product for their own fucking match. And on top of that, our Kay's Jewelers thing, which we teased that the person doing it and that's being nice may. Yeah, that's going to make it work. Also, this proposal that happened, I hope it goes long and prosperous. Because we can blame WWE for it. To be cool. The fact it had to be underground can do to be continued. The spot, yeah. I felt like I was watching the Game Awards.
Yeah, we're having a serious issue with Ashley's audio tonight. I apologize for that. Hopefully we can rectify that soon. Yeah, this
guys. I feel like you guys are coming down a little too hard on Baron Corbin. I thought the match was great. I loved it.
Well, it wasn't great, but it did what it needed to do. There were a couple spots I'll definitely give them on this match for sure.
And you can't deny that they got clapped for at the end of the match. The people clapped.
Yeah, some people probably clapped because it was over.
Oh, okay, that's just not nice.
Not everybody.
See, I gotta agree with Cleveland though.
Right, and I mean, I'm not saying it was a bad match, and I won't say it was a bad match. It was just one of those things that it was just a weak match.
And that's
I didn't think it was weak. Well, I didn't think it was weak because here's my thinking of it. this commentary pitched this match as an equalizer match that Kalisto had the chairs in his corner pretty much.
Right.
In retrospect of the match, the chairs were just Kalisto didn't really use the chairs as much as you think he did. All the spots were set up pretty much by Baron. So Baron got him, sure he won the match, but I think it was a good telling match. They didn't really use the chair as like a weapon per se. They didn't beat each other with the chairs like we've seen in other chair matches. It was just a different style.
It looked like a house
match.
It looked like a house match.
Yeah.
Well, they kept it. There's some matches on the card that can't overlap others, obviously. So if Baron and Kalisto went out there like ball speed, they could have tore the house down if they wanted to, but they probably were told not to because you had the match with, you had Dolph and Miz right before that, and now you got a chair match. So it's kind of like, or did I miss one?
no, this was designed to bring the crowd. This was designed to bring the crowd down a little bit.
A little bit, not too much. Because the Dolph and Miz match didn't even bring the crowd to its peak potential like it should have.
No, it didn't, and that was the problem.
Yeah. Sorry, I lost service there for a little bit, but I'm back. Anyway,
right.
But the way you and Ashley have been harping this pay-per-view and destroying it into pieces pretty much, I don't agree. I think this pay-per-view actually did its job for SmackDown. You got to remember, SmackDown's still the B show.
Yeah.
Even though it's gaining good ratings,
but
it doesn't have the roster like Raw, and it probably never will. So you just got to look at it as, and this is me and my buddy Brian get into this all the time because he's heavy on Raw and I'm heavy on SmackDown because I like the direction and the storytelling that SmackDown does. But Raw has like all the star power. SmackDown needs the storytelling, and they need the storytelling in their matches to make it a successful product, and they're doing it.
I just think this. I mean, like I said before, and I've said this, and I said this at the beginning of the show. I watched Ring of Honor just tear the house down for 3 hours, and I was not bored once. And then I come and I watch this show, and it's hard to not compare the two. I'm not trying to, but that's what it comes to. And when I watch something
that's the thing, you should never compare them, though.
No, I shouldn't.
You should never compare them, though. You don't have to.
Yeah, it's the same weekend. I would think that it's like comparing NXT to Raw, or comparing NXT to the pay-per-view.
WWE never compares themselves to anybody else.
No, but the thing is, at judging it for a show, when I see a show in the same weekend, I'm going to say, well, this show's better in different ways than this show, and vice versa. No, they're not the same product, not even close. But it's the fact that I got to watch a show that I like so much more makes me feel like this show underperformed. Was it a bad show?
I don't think it underperformed.
But it wasn't as good as it could have been. In a lot of ways. Not all ways, but in a lot of ways.
Scott and Owen going at it.
No, it's just the fact that there were some.
We'll have more of these combos. I can trust you.
Oh, I know. But the thing is, I mean, you got to look at the perspective of this show. Okay, honestly, Ashley was the reason we even did this show tonight. I wasn't going to do SmackDown pay-per-views because I don't watch the product, so I can't really devote as much attention that I should. So I feel underqualified to talk about the SmackDown brand because I'm not following the storylines. That's another thing that's probably hurting my enjoyment of the show because I'm not invested in it as much as I am in Raw.
But are we talking about the storyline aspects of everything? Because pay-per-views are designed for that casual viewer,
Right.
which, I mean, before, when they had, you watch the product, and if you have the money, you can watch the payoff. Okay, now you don't really need the money to watch the payoff. So even if you don't watch SmackDown, which a lot of people never really did before because of Friday nights and Thursday nights, that always fell on a bad night. Tuesday is still kind of an iffy night. And this is why I like what WWE does with their video packages. They catch you up. You don't even have to watch the product. You can watch the pay-per-view, watch these video packages, and it'll catch you up. So are you going to judge the product by what you're invested in, or are you going to judge the product on what you're seeing?
I'm watching this show, and I'm looking at the show, and I'm thinking that this is, first off, I hate the crowd. And a crowd can sometimes take you out of the show. And this crowd was terrible. They did not deserve the show.
I actually watched the pay-per-view muted because I was also watching the football game at the same time. So I didn't hear the crowd at all. So I guess that was for good reasons.
Well, we watched the show and barely heard the crowd too, so we're about even in that.
And I think they haven't really mic'd it well recently.
That's true as well. I mean, honestly, but I mean that vibe.
Is somebody sabotaging SmackDown?
Honestly, it wouldn't be shocking at this point.
But yeah, I honestly feel like SmackDown has better story build up than Raw.
I agree.
Yes. If Sasha Sasha and Charlotte, even though they didn't have the same kind of build up as Alexa Bliss and Girl with the Voice.
We'll talk about that match in a minute. Oh boy.
Yeah, they don't have the same kind of build up because the star power of Charlotte and Sasha alone. All they need to do is get in the ring and wrestle. That's pretty much all they need to do at this point. They don't need to talk. They don't need to say nothing. All you need to hear on the microphone is now coming to the ring, Sasha and Charlotte, and people are already invested.
But I'm done with it because we've seen it too many times.
Okay, listen, I don't care how many times I see Sasha and Charlotte. I am into it. The last match that they had, I was eyes glued to the TV. Okay.
It had a very, very unique finish, and I will definitely give them credit for that.
Yeah. Now coming to SmackDown, because like my buddy, because my Nashville Scott, he was saying how they don't have SmackDown doesn't have the same kind of star power as Raw.
Right.
They need the build up.
You're right.
They need all the time to be invested to build up these people and get them to the point where they could possibly have the star power like Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, because that title match didn't build up nowhere. They just said, hey, you guys are going against Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. Deal with it. That's it. But to be honest, storyline, I've been more invested in SmackDown than Raw. But when it came to pay-per-views,
plus keep in mind, we know that Kevin Dunn is racist.
Well, everyone's racist nowadays. So yeah, but but pay-per-view wise, I'm more invested in Raw pay-per-views than SmackDown.
No, I meant he's racist to Becky Lynch.
Oh wow, that went right in the arse.
Oh, I will turn my nose brown for that one.
Really? You like that?
Oh yeah, I like Becky.
He's
Becky.
racist to Becky because he doesn't like Becky's Irish accent.
I mean, to be honest, it sounds kind of manly. I don't.
Well, the Irish accent is a manly accent anyway. So, when you hear a woman of her magnitude and her her strength, obviously she works out.
Finn Balor will never become WWE champion again because Kevin Dunn's got so much sway, apparently.
I mean, like Ted, the movie Ted already made fun of how Becky Lynch would sound whilst having sex. So I don't need to do the voice for you
No.
because
And plus, I think she strengthens her accent when she's on TV. I don't think her accent's that thick in person.
I hope not, because I would have a deep boner.
But speaking of this, Becky and Alexa, this match was the storyline was it was purposely built, obviously, around Alexa, and to eventually get her over.
And that's what it should have done, too.
Yeah, and I think it did. But this crowd was just totally, I don't know why. They didn't pop as loud as they should have.
The match.
Yes, I think that was
You
the
put a
big
match
key too.
second to last before the main event. They're going to be
It's a
more
jobbing
focused on
role.
the main event.
Yeah, they should have put
If
Alexa and Becky at the beginning of the show. Started off hot with a hot, long freaking match, and crowning a new women's champion. That's what they should have did.
I mean,
Hell,
one,
they could have match second to last because clearly the only reason Baron went over is because he needs to look like a dominant force going into the Rumble.
Right.
Because the fact Brock and Goldberg's in it. So there wasn't really that much need for this to go on second to last.
I mean, at this point, I'd rather see Corbin go to Raw.
Aside from that, it actually was a pretty good match. And to be honest, it was more enforced by the kayfabe breaking promo that Alexa did afterward.
hello.
You had ever seen a wrestler in the WWE belt. And of course, Prancer, Donna, Blitzen. Going to what are your thoughts? If I was Becky, I'm just gone, shut up, bitch.
I mean, before we get to Alexa and Becky, we have to finish the Kalisto and Baron Corbin match.
Match good.
We're all over the place.
I didn't know what happened. I've been away.
You're technically still away because your internet doesn't like me right now, apparently.
You're definitely still away right now.
There's all sorts of technical issues tonight, so I guess just how it's gonna go tonight.
Hey, I love the match. Okay, I think Baron Corbin. I mean, I like Baron Corbin all since NXT.
Right.
So I think the man he's like Roman Reigns to me. Okay, and I know that's sour sauce right there, but he's like Roman Reigns to me. He may not be the best on the microphone, and he may not have the widest variety of moves, but he is so explosive in everything that he does.
Well, I do have respect for Corbin because WWE aren't pushing him to become number one contender to AJ Styles because they have to.
Well, they already gave him the Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy, so I mean, it's a start, and it's
but
slow.
Keep in mind that the other winners have been Cesaro, who from it did bugger all, and Big Show, who from it did bugger all. And Baron, let's be honest, in the last 12 months, has done pretty.
And I like the fact that Baron is anti-establishment. Like, you tell him to do something, he'll say up yours, I'm doing what I'm gonna do, which is gonna cause for like interesting television when he actually comes into the role of like doing main event shit, which I hope happens.
Well, I think they established that after the match, similar to
If he's
know,
anti-establishment,
our
I've got the perfect Corbin. Baron, get good. Which of course means he won't listen to it, so he'll get bad. Because guess what? Constructive criticism here. But, considering most of criticism is meant by la, 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 I'm not listening. I would like to see, Baron be this, if Baron was in the Braun Strowman role,
That'd be better.
if Corbin was on Raw doing what he's doing, I'd actually like him as a heel. But where he is, like, being in feuds with non-entities like Jack Swagger and just because of circumstance Callisto, which isn't his fault because tonight he had a hell of a showing. Nothing's going to change for Corbin.
By the way,
he needs to be he needs to be in a title hunt, whether it be IC or the WWE title. I think on his level, it probably should be more IC.
Yeah, and by the way, if you look at the past podcasts, and you listen to things that I've said about the one named Braun Strowman, you would hear me say that I was not impressed with him and that I don't think he would make it anywhere. And I think that he was a waste of space. Now, I would like to say that I'm singing sort of a new tune. That man is a fucking monster. And I have not seen any motherfucker his size move that motherfucking fast. So, yeah, I just felt like I needed to say that. But,
So
yeah, he raped Sami Zayn. Just want to say that.
So with this match, there was a lot of spots I liked on it. I liked the seated senton through the 6 chairs. Thought that was well done. I liked the tope suicida into the deep 6 on the floor. Thought that was well done. I like the moonsault knee drop for a near fall. I like that. I like the finish where they set it up. Basically, the Salida del Sol was countered out, and then he heads up top. Corbin basically does a belt shot, like what would be a belt shot to the face with a steel chair, and then hits End of Days into the pile of chairs. I thought it was a very good way to get Corbin over even more as a dominant heel. And, I mean, this match was the one I was having the least faith in going forward. But when I actually saw it, it had a very good point to it. And I hope that this is the end of this feud. Corbin can move on to something else, and we can move Kalisto to the Cruiserweight division where he needs to be right now to help get that division over.
I do wonder if Corbin is going to get a fine, though.
Oh, for the chair shot to the face?
Yeah. Is that
possibly?
You'd have to super slow-mo it and everything, but that was pretty touch and go as to whether that was unprotected or not.
I think it was pretty well protected. Kalisto had his arm up. I don't know if he got most of the chair with his arm or with his face, but
yeah, that's the thing. I think because he put his arm up, it probably wouldn't, but
no,
because of where it positioned,
I think it
sort of went more.
I think it was structured in the match for that to happen. Yeah, I mean, I think it was structured into the match to happen like that, or to have that spot happen. But I don't think it was I think Kalisto happened and he moved or something, and it didn't really connect like how it was supposed to. So I don't know. I don't think he's gonna get fined though. If anything, he might get fined for throwing the chair somewhere.
As long as it hit a fan like Brock did with the car door, we'll be fine.
And what was Baron
Right.
Corbin saying at the end of the match to the announcers?
He was pretty much making a statement saying that everyone's next, almost similar to what Goldberg did. So it's a setup for pretty much Royal Rumble.
That's what I'll do to anybody that gets in my way. 10 seconds later, the cameraman's getting in his way as he's trying to make his exit. And he just glances, but
he
does nothing.
almost pushed that cameraman. You could tell he was going to, but then his right mind snapped into place. I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't do that. I don't need a fine right now.
All right, so we move on to our next match. Semi-main event, SmackDown Women's title on the line, Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss. Right away, I'm going to say that Becky is better suited to be chasing the title instead of having it. She's the type of babyface that it makes more sense to have her chase the heel and then her get the title in the end than her be champion going in, especially in the beginning of a feud. So the right winner happened tonight, and I'm very happy for Alexa. I really am. Obviously, I've been a fan of hers, God, since the indie days, the stuff she was doing as Lexi Kaufman, and then when she moved up to NXT and she was doing like the pixie gimmick when she was like ultra babyface, and then she became like evil Alexa when doing stuff with Blake and Murphy, and now on the main roster. I've always been a big supporter of Alexa Bliss. And I'm very happy this match happened the way it did. However, the build up to this match was interesting to say the least. And it broke the rule of the person who gets over on the last televised show before the pay-per-view is the one who loses. Because clear as day, Alexa shoved Becky through the table on SmackDown. So it almost telegraphs that we're going to have Becky retain. But they pulled a fast one on us and they gave us a new champion. I think that was very well done.
Mm-hmm.
A tad bit disjointed at times. It was okay for what it was. I don't think it was a really good night for the women's division. I just think that there was just also something was just wonky. I don't know what it was. I guess it was just everybody's having a bad night. It could have been a whole lot better than it was. It just seemed like it wasn't working. To me, Alexa's the most over heel on the SmackDown roster. And I wish that would carry over more. But again, the crowd just didn't care. And which was a shame because when Alexa won the title, the crowd was kind of like, okay, sure, why not? I mean, Becky is leading her division by work rate alone because it seemed like they're never going to do anything of worth with Natalya. So when it comes to work rate, Becky's definitely the person that's leading the division without a doubt. But it's just a shame that the SmackDown division has a lot of really capable talent in it, but it's so overshadowed by Raw. I just wish they would have a breakout match like it's Charlotte versus Sasha in order to get the pendulum to swing a little bit more favorably towards their direction. And they had the right stipulation here. It didn't work in some ways. Like, there was a lot, like the DDT on the table that was upside down. Well, if that was done well, because that was very interesting. And then when Becky works the arm and locks on the Fujiwara armbar through the actual table legs, thought that worked really well. And they put the table across the bottom rope and puts Alexa on it, and she goes up top. Like Ashley said, maybe a node to Finn Balor going for the coup de grace, but it doesn't work that way. And Alexa hits an iconoclasm. Thank you, Morrow, for calling that. And they set up the table going into the corner. It doesn't break the first time. there's a table that's been outside the ring the whole time. Ashley, you brought this up to me. You were supposed to forget about that table being there. And a lot of people probably did. So they're fighting on the ring apron. Alexa slides underneath and gets under and basically release power bombs her through the table. I mean, it was fine. It's just I wish there was more to it. And this match really didn't do much to legitimize Alexa Bliss either, because she didn't really even cheat to win or anything like that. She kind of got lucky, basically. She was at the right place at the right time. If she wouldn't have slipped off the ring apron and was able to hook up for the power bomb, she wouldn't have been champion. So I really want to see a more dominate run for her. And I think they'll probably pull the trigger with making her one of those chickens that basically retains the title by the skin of her teeth, which is fine because that works for her gimmick. But I think this is the start of hopefully a long run between these two, going back and forth through 2017.
Bailey should have went to SmackDown.
I mean, if you could have had two of the horsewomen on Raw and two of the horsewomen on SmackDown, it'd been a lot less lopsided. But the only problem with that, Cleveland, is you don't really have a major heel other than Alexa on the SmackDown roster.
Okay, who's all the
Eva Marie?
Eva Marie is the right answer, but she's kind of away right now. Because
what the hell is up with her?
She is the one that actually attacked. The angle I think they're going to go is Carmella and Eva are sick of these old-time divas.
this angle
It's time for the new blood to get a chance.
Right.
So all the time they're portraying Natalia as if she's the heel. But in actuality, she's being dragged into this because it's these young people that resent, the old experienced veterans and whatever.
I mean, like I said, I didn't hate this match, but I think there could have been more to it. And I wish that they don't really have Alexa is the only person on the roster that's really taken seriously, because she has both the acumen in the ring and also the mic skills to be able to get over as the top heel on the SmackDown brand. I know a lot of people would want to push Carmella as that, but no, that's not working. So that division is so lopsided. I would love to see someone go to SmackDown and change things up a little bit.
Naomi?
I mean, the interesting thing about that is she could, but another person that you enjoy and you've talked about numerous times is somebody that's been training recently for Return of the Ring, and that's Tamina Snuka.
That was actually going to be the first person I talked to, but I don't even know what the hell she's been up to lately. So
she's been training recently, and they were talking about it on Twitter.
Oh well, hell, I would love for her to go to SmackDown, but don't bitch her out. Don't fuck with her talent. She is good. Don't make her a flunky to somebody who's all right.
Now, you can't do that this time. You can't have anybody valet anyone. You actually have to have people competing. And there's not many options right now. That's the problem.
Okay, can you go through all the divas on the SmackDown roster?
Well, Scott, you watch the show more than I do. Can you list the roster of SmackDown?
Nikki.
Okay. Face.
Carmella.
Heel.
Natalia.
Don't know anymore.
Question
Becky.
mark.
Right.
Becky.
Face.
Alexa.
Heel.
Heel.
Eva Marie.
Heel.
We don't know anymore. Should be heel.
She should be a heel, yeah. And then there's one more,
Naomi
right?
face.
Naomi, yeah.
Well,
it.
I mean, I'm not sure if she's face or heel anymore either, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think nobody knows.
I mean, I want her to kill this damn feel my glow shit. Like, what the hell's up with that?
I hate those shoes. I made fun of them and those horrible kicks for the longest time. I just want to see her be like a mean. I want to see her be, honestly, what I want to see Naomi be, I want to see her be the new Jacqueline.
You want to see her be black?
I want to see her be like Jacqueline was when she first came in.
I want more fucking Wub Wub. There is
No more wub wub.
Yeah, like, oh my goodness. I feel like every single time she comes out in her entrance, like somebody has to catch at least one seizure in the crowd whenever
The old
whenever
Blake and
she
Murphy entrance too.
Yeah, like it is freaking ridiculous. How can you have a storyline with that type of gimmick? How? How, Sway?
I mean, drop that. Go back to being a no nonsense person that's fed up with the way she's being treated.
Yeah,
And
that was cool.
yeah, that
That
would work. And then she could be a viable heel challenger when Becky gets the title back, because she will eventually. And obviously, Nikki is probably being set up to be one of the next challengers for the title.
But by the way, I wasn't really around when you guys were talking about the Nikki match, but it can't be healthy to like spray someone with a fire extinguisher
Thank
for so
you.
long.
That's exactly what Ashley said for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, like that. She was laying it on that girl. I'm like, I've been like on the back end of a fire extinguisher before. That shit is cold.
Right.
I
the
think this was
last
a
time
fake
I
one
saw
though.
that amount. The last time I saw that amount of white substance on a woman, I swear it was on Bukkake Party 7.
Oh my gosh, no, you did not just say that word.
Yeah, you did.
Listen, there is a couple
I've got
words
to
that
do something to acknowledge our Lord and Savior Nakamura.
New champion that we called on Wednesday.
there is like certain words that I never expect us to say on the podcast. And
I don't.
that is definitely one of them.
Hey, I was just talking about the character from Dragon Ball Z and what he uses to start his car with.
Yeah. But yeah, like doesn't
Made
that
him, made him booze car keys. Uh-huh.
but doesn't like that cause like freezer burn to like no,
Well,
doesn't?
A traditional
I'll
fire
say it
extinguisher
again.
does.
I'll say it again because you missed it earlier, but that's what the third degree burns that Triple H got at WrestleMania 30 when he did his entrance. When he took on Daniel Bryan.
Right.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But yeah, I don't
That
want to see
dry
Nikki.
eye sort of substance.
Yeah, but I don't want to see Nikki go for the title. I don't want to see Nikki champion again. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that she's healed. Her being back in the WWE is nothing short of a miracle. But I do not want to see her the champion.
No, if we were in charge, that would not happen, but we're not. So I think she's being positioned as at least a challenger.
Who? Okay, let's be real. Who the hell else is Asuka gonna go against in NXT? Bring the bitch over, okay? Because
Ember.
Ember
who?
Moon.
The only one is Ember, and that's happening. I think. That I think's happening at Mania.
It'll
And
probably
I think
happen at Mania because I think she's got Billy Kay and Takeover in San Antonio. It's not
and I
officially
tell you,
announced, but that seems like what we're leading towards.
I tell you this right now. If she beats Ember Moon, I'm gonna be so pissed off. So pissed off. That was the Ember Moon was the first NXT diva that I saw wrestle live in person, and I remember being starstruck. You caught that wordplay, starstruck. Anywho, um, I like Ember Moon deserves to be the NXT champion. So let's do it like how we typically do it. The person who's leaving goes out on their back. Ember Moon gets the championship, and Asuka brings her ass over to SmackDown.
And then, of course, Ember Moon drops the title on the next night to the debuting Nixon Newell.
Yes, I'm down with that.
Yes.
Who's debuting?
Oh my God. I've just realized we could have Nikki Cross versus Nixon Newell in 2017.
It's a very good possibility.
That better fucking happen.
I want to see Nixon and Mary.
Jimmy. No. Who writes for NXT? Jimmy don't write for NXT.
Well, I don't know who writes for NXT anymore.
Full Sail University students.
Oh my God!
No, they do. They do. Trust me, they do. The writers. If you're doing creative writing, you have part of your classwork is to help WWE write a script for NXT.
God, I need to be at Full Sail then.
No, we already know that Nate and Hunter listen to us. That was proven on Friday night.
100% agreed.
And not to just get off topic, but I'm gonna get off topic. When the hell is Samoa Joe coming to the main roster?
Or after the Royal Rumble.
Probably after the Rumble. Unless he shows up at the Rumble.
Or that. That's the other option.
Because him on SmackDown is good news.
No.
What?
I want to see Joe and Lesnar.
I want to see Joe and AJ Styles.
Already seen
Well, Joe and Lesnar could still happen if Joe is on SmackDown.
Yes. The new pay-per-view that SmackDown's going to have, because they'll have run out of names, will be called Sacrifice, and Joe will debut in a triple threat against Kurt Angle and Scott Steiner.
Why would you take on my balls like that, huh?
Because Kurt knows he can't beat me.
I do think Joe's either going to show up at the Rumble or, like Scott said, on Raw or SmackDown right after.
It's going to be SmackDown.
We'll
I see no reason. What
happens this week? Because, of course, we've got the Rage in the Cage in Adelaide. Or is it Melbourne?
Yeah, Nakamura is back to being NXT champion. So it looks like it's going to be Nakamura and Bobby Roode coming up in San Antonio.
So, like,
glorious.
I'm becoming so depressed with my dog, how they treat my dog Ty Dillinger.
Dude, he's number 10 in the Rumble. It pretty much writes itself at this point.
Okay, because I after watching the takeover, I'm pretty sure this is his last match. I mean, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it is.
It can't have been his last match. I mean, if you go by the crowd chants, he wrestled on WCPW's pay-per-view this past week.
Right.
And he wrestled on Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
On Friday night.
Is he allowed to do that?
I'm pretty sure he actually has wrestled for Ring of Honor before, to be honest.
Hard to tell. Can't remember. Can't remember from back in the day.
Cleveland, they're just saying that his gimmick is so over that everybody was chanting 10 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. That's why.
At the last major pay-per-view, they were chanting 10.
Right.
Like, I'm like,
Well, after Survivor Series, so you had NXT on Saturday, and then Survivor Series on Sunday, they were chanting 10. Raw, they were chanting 10 on Monday, and then Tuesday, even SmackDown, they were chanting 10.
yeah, I'm like,
It went for the whole week.
Oh yeah.
How over does this man have to be before you like shove a four-leaf clover up his ass? Like, come on.
See, here's the problem though. The problem with Ty Dillinger, and this is coming from a guy in me that has been promoting Dillinger since day one. Like, knowing his stuff in the indies, knowing the stuff he did to Shawn Spears. Yes, actually, Shawn Spears has worked Ring of Honor before.
Right.
The stuff he did on SmackDown and the WCW, the WWE version of ECW. Being a fan of his, at this point, I'm worried that he may turn out to be, with all how over he is right now, exactly what happened with Fandango after WrestleMania.
You shut your filthy mouth.
And you know how much I support Fandango.
No, you shut your filthy mouth. I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you said that.
I'm worried that may be how they perceive him, to be just a gimmick.
Think about it.
Regardless,
He basically could be the Dancing with the Stars judge.
Okay, the talent, comparing Fandango's talent to Ty Dillinger, no, it's not even close. If anything, I would compare, and I'm saying this right now, Ty Dillinger to Daniel Bryan. Okay, Daniel Bryan, he had a catchy slogan, I guess you want to call it, that everybody caught fire to, and it would never die down because in his matches he performed the way he performed, the moves that he did, the only word that you could actually come up with to respond to it was yes. And that's the same thing for Ty Dillinger. When Ty Dillinger performs, not dancing like a stupid idiot, when he performs, the only word that you can use to describe his performance is 10, 10, 10, because that's all he gives in the ring.
Hold on. Here's the thing.
Did you call Ty dancing, making him look like a stupid idiot?
What happened?
Did you just say that Ty's dancing made him look like a stupid idiot?
Oh, Fandango, because he was comparing Fandango to Ty Dillinger.
I'm talking about, and I know what he's capable of, and everybody here on this panel knows what he's capable of. But the thing is, if you look at him from a WWE perspective, without even looking at NXT, without looking at anything in the past, they're looking at something that's getting over and something that's bleeding into the product. So regardless how talented he is, maybe I'm worried that if he gets brought up to the main roster, they're not going to treat him properly.
Oh, okay. Well, I could understand that.
Zack Ryder.
Because you know what happens when you call somebody a stupid idiot.
Yes.
Did I really say stupid idiot though? Did I?
Cleveland, you just made the list.
God dang it, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm so disappointed in myself right now. I feel really sad. like when
Jericho, drink it in, boys, drink it in.
Like when Ellsworth was told that he made the list. Oh, you know what? Now that son of a bitch is definitely on the list now.
Well, we'll talk about him in a minute, actually, once we get to the main event.
But my take on the women, quick.
Go ahead.
I haven't really said anything. I thought this match was, and it's just like I said a little bit ago, that this feud was built around Alexa to go over.
Right.
Now, yes, you did say that WWE writing pretty much states, it's pretty much a rule in WWE's Writers 101, that if the wrestler that goes over at the show preceding the pay-per-view will be the one that goes over.
Right. Normally, that's correct.
Normally. They flipped the script. I was shocked at the end. I thought the match was well wrestled. I thought there was going to be more tables involved because the the gimmick of the match is that you must put your opponent through the table.
Right.
So if you're running at somebody and you go into a table, then oops, reset, new table.
Exactly.
Match doesn't end. They should have done that maybe once or twice. One of them should. They both should have ate a table themselves. But no table was spared. The only table that was really spared was the one that Alexa really freaking did the DDT on, which looked like it hurt because that metal bar on the bottom that supports the table is a stiff little bar.
It doesn't feel good, that's for sure.
No. Ask Hardcore Holly that.
Yes.
That was yeah. Well, what was it? It was a match, and he got suplexed to the outside, and he landed on the table like across it,
Yep.
like up and the freaking the sidebar broke off and went up his back and put a freaking like a 30-inch cut in his back. It was nasty looking.
He's lucky he can still work to this day.
Yeah, he's lucky it didn't go through him. It just pierced him and just went right up his back.
Yeah,
right across his back, pretty much. From his kidney on his right side all the way up to his left shoulder.
Yeah,
Bad cut.
But at least he didn't get a hole in his attire.
Yeah,
yes, right.
We're getting to that now, actually.
But yeah, so the match was really well done. A lot of cool close near falls that you thought somebody was going to go into a table. And it shocked the crowd, I think. I don't think the crowd wasn't invested into it. I think it just shocked them. Like, well, we didn't see that coming. And the Dallas crowd is usually loud, but tonight they were off for some odd reason.
See, this is the thing I'm thinking.
And the placing, too. The placing didn't help either.
Oh, I mean, sadly, the women's match, by and large, throughout time, except for just recently, because obviously we've had a reason for it to not be. But it's been the match before the main event, the semi-main, to basically get people to get a drink or get food or go to the bathroom or buy merch or anything. Just get their stuff done before the main event. And this match didn't deserve that kind of treatment. But I can understand why people would have left between, because obviously they didn't want to leave between AJ and Ambrose. So
they should have flipped this one with Nikki and Carmella.
Yeah,
they really should have did that.
Because of the two women's matches, this one was a lot better.
Yes, it was. And I got to give it to Alexa. Alexa really did have a good match. I've always been skeptical of her because of her, not just because of her size, but I know her background a little bit. When they had that NXT at the Arnold Classic a few years ago, that's where they found her. Because she is a bodybuilder, and she was at that Arnold. And voila, she becomes Alexa Bliss. But yeah, she could really wrestle.
Yeah.
If they gave her more time, and I wouldn't even say more time, if the match was structured a little bit more and a little bit more favorable of opponent, like I bet you her and Sasha can have an amazing match.
They have.
Holy crap. Yeah, probably on NXT, and I haven't seen it. Like a dumbass I am.
But the problem is just, I don't know, just something just wasn't gelling tonight. It was an okay match, but is it anything close to what the ladies on Raw have been doing? No, not really. But, I mean, they tried. They really did try to make this match work. And it's a completely different division than what we have on Raw. They're basically having to build up from the bottom, and it's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it as just a match standpoint. I mean, without the crowd or anything, the match was a pretty solid match, and it had a ending that nobody expected. Everybody thought Becky was gonna, go over, and they were gonna probably have another fight at Royal Rumble or leading up to the Rumble, but having Alexa win was obviously the right choice, and it works. And the match was a decent match for a table match. It's hard to actually have a really good table match, the same as a chair match.
Yeah.
Because and this is what bugs me when they say, "Oh, it's a table match." Well, get other shit in the ring, involve it with the table. finishing. That's the finish. Use other shit. Use a ladder or a chair. There was fucking plenty of them up on that ramp.
Most of that was set decoration, and that's probably what it was designated as such. They didn't even whip anybody into it tonight like they normally do.
Right. Yeah, tear the house down like they did a few years ago when they used to hang the shit off the freaking rafters.
John Cena dropped every chair in the world on Wade Barrett that night.
Yep. I remember that.
I hated that finish. Poor Wade Barrett.
By the way, Wade Barrett has a movie coming out that's WWE produced. I'm all for it.
Well, Wade Barrett's a great actor, so I support Stu Bennett as an actor without a doubt.
They were like, you know what? We understand that you quit working as a wrestler, but we still want you to be an actor.
Dead man down. But let's get to the main event. Smackdown WWE Championship on the line. AJ Styles defending against Dean Ambrose.
Really?
We have 16. We have 6 minutes to go until this actually eclipses the pay-per-view length.
Nice.
This match really ripped the pants off of me.
Oh God, I have to feel for AJ in this match, getting that big hole in his gear that just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
And the cameras kept on trying to hide it.
Yeah, they did the spot on the table to try to get it hit a little bit more. Let's talk about a couple of the spots in this match. So 4 chairs were set up this time, and this is really awesome. This is one of the first things I really liked about this match. Ambrose hits an orange crush through all 4 chairs, which is the second time on pay-per-view this weekend that no one's called that move properly. But I digress, because it's WWE, and I would not expect anything less. Move looked awesome, though.
Yeah, it did.
So Ambrose hits the Cactus Jack hip buster off the middle rope, actually off the top rope here. Table set up in the corner, of course. Ambrose sets up his own demise. I've done it before. It's fun setting up a spot that you're going to take. And then, of course, that's when the hole gets bigger and bigger. Poor guy. So he has the ladder literally on top of the announce table. And I'm not talking like laying on the announce table. I'm talking about set up on top of the announce table.
Shit that you would only do in a WWE game.
Exactly. This should have been like this match brought to you in part by 2K17, because that's how this stuff really happens. So he had AJ on the other opposite announce table, and Ambrose does the diving elbow drop, puts him through it. Looked great, by the way. Ambrose climbs up the ladder. AJ hits a springboard forearm, knocks Ambrose off. So they're fighting on top of the ladder. They both get knocked off. Ambrose sets up dirty deeds. AJ goes for the Styles Clash. And AJ ends up going for a powerbomb. Ambrose reverses into the Rana, and AJ goes over the top. AJ ends up hitting a K-Rod and moonsault to reverse DDT on the outside.
And he face plants the floor.
Oh my God, that looked bad. So then it sets it up, and I'm like, I told Ashley, I was like, he's going for the springboard 450. And that's what happens. AJ uses the springboard 450 to put Ambrose to the table. And AJ's climbing the ladder. And here comes James Ellsworth.
Here comes the notion.
Keep your chin up. Oh, I'm sorry. Spirit up.
Spirit, yeah. Ellsworth. Okay, first off, he gets booed when he first comes out, and then he starts getting Ellsworth chants.
Ellsworth sounds just like Goldberg.
Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way if you really want to get technical. But
Well, that's how they were chanting it too.
Right.
Ellsworth.
so James Ellsworth, for all intents and purposes, becomes David Arquette at this point. Go back to Starrcade 2000, right after Ready to Rumble came out, when he was defending the championship against Jeff Jarrett and Diamond Dallas Page in a triple cage match. And basically, you have Ellsworth trying to help Jeff Jarrett win, as in Jeff Jarrett being AJ Styles. I don't know what kind of a world we live in. Well, I guess we live in a world where Dean Ambrose is DDP, so I guess that's how it's going to work. But of course, something has been telegraphed on Twitter all weekend. James Ellsworth turns heel. And that's exactly what happens. But first, you have to tease it. Because AJ goes for the Styles Clash. Ambrose hits a lariat, climbs up, AJ gets back in, and then Ambrose knocks AJ off. Ellsworth comes in, tips the ladder over. Ambrose goes to the two tables that miraculously appeared at one point, side by side. AJ crawls back in, climbs the ladder. Ellsworth cheering on at ringside, and AJ Styles retains the championship. A quick addendum in this match. I did not watch the Talking Smack afterwards, but I did see this little information, Ashley. I don't know if you saw this yet. They made a match for SmackDown on Tuesday. You remember how you said to me that the reason why Ellsworth helped AJ win is because he thought he had AJ's number?
That's what I was thinking.
Well, that's what Ashley said to me word for word when we were offline. And that's pretty much identical to what he said. And then he said, furthermore, not only can he beat AJ for the title, and that's the reason why he helped him win, he's going to give Ambrose the first title shot, and everything's still cool with them because they go way back. Brian's response, and I saw this on Twitter, and I'll have to break this down. AJ is going to hurt you, and then Ambrose is really going to hurt you. So we get Ellsworth against AJ this Tuesday night for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I'm starting to get nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
Why?
I'm starting to worry that they're gonna flip the title to Ellsworth.
Is Ellsworth a legitimate wrestler?
Yeah.
I saw him do like one house show on YouTube from what I could find. But like, is he like a legitimate wrestler?
Yes, he is.
Hell, he was tag team partner.
What?
I heard tag team partners.
Come on.
So basically what we're saying is that he started out with CZW. So maybe that's where his background with Ambrose began in a storyline perspective.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't Ambrose go to CZW?
That was where he made his name.
So there must be some sort of they gotta play this into it.
Maybe. I mean, the person that he teamed with was Drew Gulak.
Gulak.
Eh?
Yeah, because my thing is, if he's actually a pretty good
Gulak.
wrestler,
Yeah, Gulak.
Gulak.
Tournament of Death 5 against Blackout.
If he's actually a good wrestler, I would just like to see it. You know, like I love his no chin music. I like that. He executes that pretty well. But I would like to
Never
see.
said he was. We never said he was good.
No.
He was a decent wrestler. He was
fine.
I wouldn't say he was like, you know, I would want him on the WWE roster like Dean Ambrose. Not on that.
He's an actual.
But, you know, as a mid-carder that can help, you know, flesh out the roster, it's a smart decision, even if it is on a short-term basis.
He's an he's an Axel Rotten trainee too.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason why he's in the WWE because he's marketable.
Wasn't he jobbed for Braun Strowman once, didn't he?
Right, and
that's how he got kind of the job almost.
Well, pretty much. I mean, the funny thing about that is they both were rosebuds at one point too. Before
Really?
that match happened, yeah.
Yeah, because like the people like when they went face to face, and Braun was like, "Don't I know you?" Like I felt like there was like a story like I had no idea about.
And that would have been lost on 90% of the people that didn't remember that they both were rosebuds for Adam Rose for a while.
So he starts out as a jobber against Braun.
Right.
And then somehow he gets an opportunity to wrestle on SmackDown.
Yeah, he's AJ's mystery partner for some reason.
Right. Yeah, that's right. He was his mystery partner. And then the story twists. Ambrose kind of puts him under his wing, kind of.
Right.
And then he fights AJ, wins by DQ. So he's got to win over AJ. And then he fights for the contract, which, you know, Dean interferes on both of them, of course. So Dean, then, you know, he legitimately gets his SmackDown contract, which angers AJ even more. Which come to this point, now he screws over Dean just so then he can get a shot at AJ again?
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to go after... He doesn't want to go after Dean?
Yeah.
For the title?
That's the storyline they're playing off.
It's Jericho storyline.
Well, let me just say this. His rise to...
Jericho, Kevin Owens. It's the, you know, I am unbeatable. In inverted, you know, in brackets, as long as I've got my friend with me.
Right.
And basically, it's gonna. I think the way it will turn out over the next week or whatever. Worth did it because he's adamant that he can be AJ, not realizing that he's in jeopardy with Amber. Basically, what you saw after the aftermath of the Ambrose Asylum will happen again, except there won't be any help from Dean. And then, you know, James will be like, "Where were you, man?" And he'll just be like, "Serious, you know, after screwing me out of my opportunity, you think I want to assist you? Guy who shouldn't even be here." You know, he sort of incorporated that into if you know, when he was like, you know, Prancer, Donna, what's her name? Rudolph asked Dean, how is James after the beating that he took? And all Dean said was, well, pretty sure he's okay. Here he's sitting at home, you know, watching the network. You know, keeping his chin up. I mean, he's in good spirits. But, you know, even there, he was like, he got him at all. You know, all he's elf, and that's Dean in a nutshell. And become the plot, I think, somehow, for what's to in the upcoming weeks. Because I'm guessing it will probably be finished in or around by Christmas. So then we can build to some title contender for AJ. Probably Cena. Because I'd have thought they'd have pulled the trigger on Undertaker on the pay-per-view. Because if they don't announce that Undertaker's going to be on SmackDown, I don't think the audience is going to watch SmackDown. Especially when you now have the complication of the fact that next Tuesday SmackDown tapings, which is, well, next week's SmackDown Live and 205 Live, is also going to be the tapings for True. So they're doing 3 television shows worth of content over. Is that the doors open on the Ticketmaster website at 6:15, which implies that they could do some stuff, I guess, before SmackDown goes, let's say. And unless you tape the matches quickly or you did stuff the night before on Raw, people are going to be there for up to 5 hours for a show. Which, no.
I mean,
At least they're getting their money's worth.
Oh yeah, that's a good way. That's a way to look at it, honestly.
Yeah, have enough attention. Are they going to have to pump in crowd noises 24 hours later?
Well, they probably will anyway.
Damn you, Karen!
They pump crowd noises in, I think, to make the crowd start chanting and stuff, especially at the right times that they want them to chant.
Yeah, when Rusev is out there with Long. Because they'll find some way to do that because, US title.
Right.
And,
in Canada.
Pretty sure that. Well, no, it's the SmackDown's going to be Washington DC next. So,
right. Yeah, because of the
No.
Yeah. Right.
What they're going to be doing is that Kevin Dunn's going to press the button to make everybody go, "Get your tits out! Get your tits out!"
You can only hope. But what I think is really cool about James Ellsworth is that he's had kind of like a natural growth as far as and being, a superstar. That's been all natural, it seems like. Like everybody was really, there was a lot of people behind him for certain SmackDowns, not all of them, but he always had, the crowd behind him. And I thought, because we always complain that WWE tries to shove superstars down our throats and stuff. And which way am I going? Oh, I gotta go this way. So Ellsworth in the mix, and everybody just kind of like jumped on the bandwagon. And somebody found out that his name sounded really close to Goldberg. So, but it's going to be interesting in these next few weeks of how they tell this story out, and how they explain it and whatnot. So,
and we'll be covering that this Wednesday on the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast. So, that's TLC. I mean, it wasn't a great pay-per-view. It wasn't a terrible pay-per-view. It's just kind of in the middle.
It could have been better if they would have put Undertaker out. Undertaker lives freaking 3.5 hours away, 4.5 hours. So
Right.
why not? Or does he live? No, he lives over by San Antonio, right? Yeah, I think so. Or Houston. It's one of the two. I don't know. I know he lives down there with Michelle McCool. Lucky bastard.
So yeah, I mean, if Undertaker would have shown up, I think that would have been a better thing. I completely agree with you on that one, Scott. Honestly, it might have helped. It might have actually popped the crowd and woke them up.
2 hours and 40 minutes too late.
Yeah, no lie. Yeah, I really look forward to Roadblock Walking Dead into the line at this point.
Not me, but we're gonna have to watch it.
That's hardcore sarcasm, sir.
Totally flew over my head.
Last Popcast, and I'll be sitting in this chair. So yeah, that'll be an interesting show to say the least. Yeah, it's our show tonight. I want to thank Cleveland for joining us tonight. First and foremost, right as soon as we started talking, he sends me a DM that says, "Please, can I come on the show?" And I was like, "Of course you can. Absolutely, you're always welcome on the show." So he comes on. If you want to check out Cleveland, check him out on Twitter at ControCleve and his YouTube channel, Cleveland Henry. Also, if you're lucky and you're in the Atlanta area, you might be able to check him out in the comedy club. To be honest, so yeah, he does stand up comedy. You want to check him out, Cleveland Henry on YouTube. Find out more information about where he's going to be doing shows in the near future. And yeah, I'm very glad to have him on the network. We have a lot of fun here, but first and foremost, I am very happy that Cleveland's a part of the Popcast Network still. After everything, he doesn't have the ability to be on every show, but it's nice to have him on whenever he's available to be on. Obviously, Will and Travis, hopefully they'll be returning soon. Everybody's super busy right now. It's the holidays, so obviously we got to get ready for everything. Get ready for Christmas. Get ready for the first of the year and the beginning of a new beginning, to say the least. But like I said, I'm being cryptic right now. I won't be for too much longer. I'll tell everybody what's going on soon enough, very soon, because you're going to notice a lot of weird changes to the Popcast Network after the first of the year. So Ashley apparently dropped out. So he's been having technical issues all night. My apologies to everyone for that. We've had a lot of problems, technical issues tonight. So I want to apologize for that. I mean, sometimes the internet's kind of wonky. I mean, that's just what happens. We'll see what happens with the remainder of the future. So hopefully things will be fixed tomorrow for Raw's podcast, which, by the way, will be as soon as Raw's over tomorrow night. So 11:30 is when it'll be set for, but obviously we'll go live probably about 11:15, 11:20, depending on when the show ends. And I want to shout Ashley out by saying you can follow him on Twitter at AshIsMyNameUK. Gaming with Ash will be returning later this week. You want more Ashley here on the network. He joined, well, not in voice and in body, but in words. His predictions are also available in the video we just put out about an hour and a half ago of me and AJ talking about our Academy Awards predictions for the month of November. So that's out if you want to check that out. If you're a movie fan, check that out. If you want to hear some more podcasts that are like this, and you can check out Ashley's archives at the SNS Radio Network at snsradionetwork.com. So yeah, check them out. Oh, Ashley's back.
Yeah.
I was putting you over, sir.
Well, I need to say this quickly.
Okay.
I need to head off to bed.
Okay.
Right. Gaming with Ash moves a few days.
Okay.
Because there is another video that's put up that I have filmed, and I'll send over to you, Owen, over the course of tomorrow. I'll probably set it to start going onto the place just before I leave for the cinema for my triple bill and whatever. So then hopefully it'll be there for you to deal with.
Oh, nice.
Before Raw goes on or whatever. Yeah, the gaming one will come some other time in the week, depending when Owen can fit it up and everything. But other than that, yeah, Ash is my name UK on Twitter, snsradionetwork.com for a whole sorts of other shenanigans and whatever. And yeah, I need some sleep because I've got to be up in a few. Yeah, I'm gone. Night, guys.
See you tomorrow for Raw, Ashley. All right. Scott, you get the last word tonight.
All right. I want to thank Ashley and Cleveland for making this a fun show. It's always fun. It's always a blast. You can follow me on Twitter at Great Traveling Scott, GR8, TRAVLNSCOTT. I do have a podcast on Spreaker.com. That's SPREAKER. Great Traveling Scott. Wee! And I'm just driving recklessly around Boston because, that's fun. But yeah, follow me there. Follow me on Twitter, of course. Follow me on Facebook if you can find me. Thank you, Owen. Great things are coming soon, just like you said. I haven't done anything on my podcast in a little bit, but there are reasons why. So, I guess until tomorrow night when the Popcast Network returns for Monday Night Raw at 11:30. Join us here and every other night on Wednesdays, Fridays, whenever they pop up, because it is the Popcast Network.
Very nice. So real quick, follow me on Twitter at Sir Owen Disney. Follow the network at Popcast Network. Check out our Facebook fan page at Popcast Network. Our merchandise on Zazzle at Popcast Network. We have some new shirts coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And check out our Patreon. It's Popcast Network as well. So yeah, all that is available. If you want to hear the Raw Popcast from last week, or the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast from last week, or the Ring of Honor Final Battle 2016 Popcast from last week, all that is in the description bar below, along with links to everyone's channels and everyone's Twitter feeds. So that being said, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. We'll see you guys later today or later tomorrow, depending on how you're looking at this. As soon as Raw's over, we'll be live to talk WWE Monday Night Raw. So until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Ellsworth, Ellsworth, Ellsworth.